SwivelLeather.com.
Hello folks, Mike Dale with LearnLeather.com. Today I'd like to talk to you about swivel knives. These swivel knives you see here in front of you were given to me as a test and evaluation set by Rickert, a German company who supplies leather tools, leather, and leather supplies. As many of you in Europe know, trying to source things from the United States is prohibitively expensive in some cases. Often, the item that you are buying costs less than the shipping and customs fees to get it into the country. So when I got the opportunity to review these tools from Rickert, I jumped at the chance because I want a European supplier, and I want to be able to recommend European suppliers for those of us who just can't afford to spend the big money for things from the States. Now, that being said, Rickert sources these tools from Japan, and at each one of them it says right on the yoke, made in Japan. And as with most things Japanese, they are high quality and there's a lot of attention to detail. They come in 3 sizes. Rickert lists them as small, medium, and large. They are 9, 11, and 13 millimeters wide, or in diameter anyway. And there are 2 colors. The silver are listed as classic, the black are listed as pro, and the difference between the two is that the black have a ball bearing under the yoke, whereas these have a bushing. Now there's nothing wrong with a bushing, however these ones had a tendency to squeak a little bit and were a little bit rough when I got them. So I took it apart and I put a single drop of oil underneath the yoke onto the bushing, and now they are quiet and smooth, and at €14.95, these are a fantastic bargain, almost a steal for what you get, especially in comparison to what you might get as a beginner knife from somewhere else. Certainly it's serviceable, it can do the job, but for the same or less money, this is a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. Now, the Pro at €28.95 is also a steal. Frankly, it's not that much more money, and for the added smoothness and feature of the ball bearing, it's a wise choice. However, if you don't have the money, you're not getting any less knife here. And frankly, we all know that this is merely for showing off. It doesn't really mean anything because you can carve with a screwdriver with no swivel just as easily as you can with one of these knives. So, to fit and finish, the machining and knurling on these knives is fantastic. There are very few machining marks on the barrel. The knurling is grippy but not obtrusive, and they all have the Rickert logo laser engraved near the top of the barrel. It's hard to see on the silver one, but it's there, I assure you. Now, additionally, the blades are also marked made in Japan, and they come in 3 sizes as well, 0, 1, and 2. The number 2 is this, and it's quite thick as far as I'm concerned, too thick for my style of carving, although you may find that it's alright. And for me, I like the number 0, which is a much thinner profile and a smaller blade. The geometry of the blade is much more suited to the type of carving that I do. There is a blade in the middle, the number 1, and as you can see, it is clearly in the middle between the thick and the thin, so they offer something for each style, or at least a wide enough range to cover most people. Now, the blades that come standard on these knives are the number 2. They come covered with a wax coating so that they don't get damaged in transport, but they have some issues when it comes to the final finish of the edge itself. and that is machining marks that you can feel with your thumb, and obviously you can see them. The problem with that is, as you cut into leather, as we know, the smoother the blade, the better and easier the cut is. So if this were mine, I would have to spend some time with some sandpaper, some buffing wheels, to ensure that that blade is a mirror finish, much like some of the finishes or blades that I use on some of my other knives, which you can see your reflections in quite clearly. This makes all the difference when it comes to the longevity between stropping and, as I said earlier, the smoothness of your cut. Now, earlier I mentioned comparison to a Tandy beginner knife, and truthfully, there is very little comparison in the quality. Now, let's be honest, the Tandy knife will also do the job, but for $14.95, I can't think of a better deal in a swivel knife at all. Even at $28.95, which is probably like $35, I still can't think of a better bargain. In fact, these knives compare favorably to knives in the $100 range, such as this Henley, which is one of my favorite knives. The knurling is a little more aggressive. I like that. It also compares favorably to my Ed LeBaire. But again, these are like the next level, the next step above. But in comparison to the Tandy Pro, which is about $75 price point, I believe, without any of the discounts that Tandy offers, there is a very fair comparison between the two, especially the one with the ball bearing. Tandy also uses a ball bearing yoke. The knurling on the blade, or on the barrel rather, is a little bit nicer on the Japanese knife from Rickert, in my opinion. This knurling kind of almost appears to be there simply for appearance. Doesn't really dig into the grip, and while that's not a huge issue, if your hands are sweaty or if you're getting tired, that little extra grip may make the difference for completing your cut smoothly. So, in conclusion, we have found a European source of a quality knife that doesn't break the bank, is adjustable, as you can see here with the Allen wrench, which, by the way, each knife comes with an Allen wrench supplied for adjustability and or changing the blade. Now, about the blades, I did want to mention that in the set, or the range of blades that Rickert offers, there are the 3 sizes I've already covered and 2 sizes of beater blade. These blades are extra, and I think they run about 20 euros a piece, but they are available for you if you need them. So once again, overall impressions, this is a fantastic knife. It is an incredible bargain for the price. And if you live in Europe and you're looking for a good quality knife that you don't want to spend a fortune on, I can't think of a better recommendation off the top of my head. Give Rickert a shout. Check out their website. They have a ton of things. Without offering any money-back guarantees, I can assure you that this knife will serve its purpose for you for many, many years to come. And if you need more knife than this, you are probably a far better worker than I am. I hope this helps, and we'll see you next time.